Alright, so last weekend we got a brand new film in theaters. It stars Tom Hardy, Austin Butler, and Jodie Comer. It was titled The Bikeriders, about a group called the Chicago Vandals back in the 1960s and 70s. What did I think about it? Here's my review. Alright, so heading into The Bikeriders, I'm not going to say I had any real anticipation for it. I saw the trailer a couple times while I was in the theater for different movies, and I thought it looked good, but it was always a movie that I was like, you know, the summer movie season's busy. I'm not sure if I'm going to go see that one in the theater. Well, this last weekend I was like, you know what, I want to go see a movie. Why not? Let's go see a movie. So I went to go see The Bikeriders, and what did I think about it? I'll tell you right here in this video, but before I get started, please make sure to comment down below, what did you think of The Bikeriders? I want to know all that and more down below, and while you're down there, please go ahead and subscribe and like button, hit the bell so you never miss another video. We're at 174. If we get to 200 by the middle of July, there will be a special video coming your way. And with that said, let's get started talking about The Bikeriders. And the first thing that'll come to people's minds when you think about The Bikeriders is this cast, which is Tom Hardy is the kind of leader of the biker gang. I thought he was pretty good. I like Tom Hardy. Actually, I more than like Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy. Whether it's him being ridiculously stupid in the Venom movies, or it's him just as Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, or any role he does, I really like him, and I really like him in this movie here. His character was compelling, easily the most compelling character out of the entire movie. Austin Butler, I don't think was as good as I feel like he could have been. When you get to see him in Elvis, and he's phenomenal in that movie, and then you get to see him in Dune Part 2, who, out of a movie with that big of a cast, he can stand out as the best character in the entire movie. That's kind of crazy. That's how good of an actor he is. And in this movie here, I didn't think he really stood out. And I think it's more of a writing thing than anything, because his character, to me, just kind of felt like kind of standoffish, and that's kind of what the character was like. I didn't even feel like he had any real lines or anything to do. He was just kind of there as the love interest, and I didn't really feel that coming out of him. So I don't know if it's just kind of like a phoned in performance by him, or if it was a script problem, but I don't think he was as good as he could have been. He's still good, but he's not as good as he could have been. Jodie Comer, great in this movie. I was worried that I would not like her after the first 10 minutes, because of her voice that she's putting on is ridiculous. It's dumb, but I grew to really like her, and I really did enjoy her in this movie. Norman Reedus is in this movie, apparently. We all knew that, but he showed up on screen, and I was like, oh, Norman Reedus is in this movie. I forgot about that. He just kind of shows up out of the blue nowhere, and he doesn't really do anything. So, I mean, he's in this movie. We can say that for sure. So the cast, it's all around good. I feel like it could have been better. I feel like there's a lot of big name actors and actresses that could have shined better, but they were still good. Now, overall, about the movie itself, I genuinely dug the movie. I really did like this movie. Now, going into movies like this, and I'm not going to near compare them, because these are movies that are going for Oscars. This is probably not going to be a movie like that. But I typically earn to think about movies like Killers of the Flower Moon, or Oppenheimer, or something like that. Something that tells a true story that is really good movie, but just doesn't quite adhere to me. So going into movies like these, I'm typically nervous. I'm really worried that I'm not going to like the movies. And with this one, I was genuinely, let me rephrase that. I was genuinely surprised at how much I did enjoy this movie. I find that the story was genuinely entertaining and interesting, always kept you interested. There were the draggy parts, we'll get to that in a minute, but the story always kept me invested into it. There was quite often twists and turns to where certain characters will die that you think to survive the whole movie. There will be parts where it's starting to drag a little bit, and then bam, something happens and you're invested right back in. Even the draggy parts are only for at least 5 to 10 minutes at a time. And so I just found the story to be genuinely interesting, and I really did enjoy that aspect of this movie. And then also something that adds on to that, something that makes me not as much enjoy Oppenheimer or Killers of the Flower Moon, those are over 3-hour movies. This one's under 2 hours, which I see a lot of the criticisms is that it didn't finish the entire story or it kind of left you feeling empty. And I get that. For me, I find that it was under 2 hours, that it doesn't have as much draggy parts as a typical movie like this would have. It doesn't ever overstay its welcome, and it doesn't feel like I've been sitting in the theater chair for hours. Under 2 hours makes it flow by much better, and even though if you guys think it doesn't quite fully feel the story, I felt the story, I thought it was pretty good, and the under 2 hour limit was a nice touch to this movie. So it's a movie that genuinely surprised me. I did genuinely enjoy this movie, and I recommend it to you guys. In the theater, it was packed, and I know it's kind of underperforming kind of right now. It's not really expected to do much. My theater was packed. The moment I walked in there, there was a line almost out the door to get the tickets, and most of them was older people. And when I got to the theater, every seat was filled with older people. I think I was like the only kid, or not kid, but like the only youth there. You know, I'm 18, but I mean, whatever. And like, it was kind of weird because I sat next to 2 older people on each side of me, and like, they were like, what the heck's there just one 18-year-old youngling in this movie? And I was like, hey, I'm just here, I'm a film critic, you know? And so my theater was absolutely packed, and it kind of jumped to the experience because every time something shocking happened, and there are a couple of those moments, the theater was like, whoa, my goodness. So it could be a very verbal theater. My jaw dropped a couple times on sequences I didn't think would happen. Nothing too crazy. It's not gonna blow your mind or anything, but it's still surprising because you didn't expect those things to happen. So my theater was packed, just added to the experience of a movie that I thought was pretty good, and I highly recommend you guys to watch. Yes, it did drag occasionally. There would be like 5 to 10 minute sequences where nothing's happening, especially when Norman Reedus was introduced, because he just kind of shows up, and I was just confused for a minute, like, wait, hold on, is that Norman Reedus? Since when did Norman Reedus show up in this movie? So I was a little bit confused when we got to that aspect, but I still don't think that was bad at all. It's not a great movie, it's not a perfect movie, but for this movie that I had almost no expectations going into, it's a pretty pleasant surprise, and I did enjoy it, and that's why the Bikeriders, for me, is going to get a B+. I recommend you guys go check this one out in a theater, but maybe not, because this weekend we get A Quiet Place Day 1. But if you're not into horror movies and you missed this movie, I'd recommend you go check it out. It's a pretty good movie. So comment down below, what did you guys think of the Bikeriders? My next video is going to be a The Boys Season 4 review after Episode 5 drops tomorrow. So I will get you guys out the review of the first 5 episodes on that, and then I'm going to see A Quiet Place Day 1, then I'm going to have A Quiet Place ranking. Hopefully next week I'm going to drop my Pixar tier list, so if you're looking forward to all those videos, go down below, comment down below what did you guys think of the Bikerider. While you're down there, subscribe, like button, and hit the bell so you never miss another video, and with that said, subscribe to join. Peace out.